Week 7 is upon us, guys, and we're going to give you everything you need to know, the news and notes, talk about all the injuries, and we're going to give you some really good tips, players, and matchups coming up in Week 7. Let's go! All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Welcome into Week 7. Here we go. I can't believe Week 7. We're almost midway through the regular season in fantasy football. Can you believe that?
It's crazy. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, you know, John, in the last few weeks, I feel like you've already lived like 7 weeks between Germany and London, and look at the scarves in the back. I mean, you're looking... Wow, looking good, man.
I'm not looking good. I'm telling you that much right now. My background might look good, but man, I'm hurting, okay? I got in at midnight after traveling for about 24 hours straight. My eyes are puffy. I'm not sure. I had a little too much German beer here, guys.
There you go.
You know, I'm back in the saddle again, and it feels good. So let's have a good episode today. Let's talk about what everyone needs to know for Week 7 here, Frank.
Let's do it.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Please, don't forget to follow us on social media. TikTok, Instagram are so much fun, you guys. Get in on the conversation on TikTok and Instagram. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, guys. It's going to tell you every week when our episodes are coming out. Also, don't forget about Tuesdays. Frankie's got his waiver wire coming out. That's going to be on social media as well, so you can get that. And also your Fridays with Frankie. He's going to tell you the top 5 things you need to know before going into the weekend here, guys. That's going to tell you who's a starter sit. It's going to tell you who's actually going to play and who's not going to play. Really valuable last-minute information here, guys. So don't forget, follow it, Frankly Fantasy Football. All right. Frankie, let's get into talking about a little bit what happened this past week. We'll do a few minutes on this, man, but my God, I just got to start off with Uncle Rico once again.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
Talk to me about what Uncle Rico did briefly, and then what are we doing moving forward looking at him here?
So this is what's interesting, guys. So we all know his big week in Week 5, 234 yards. No way he's tapping it or, you know, overcoming that. And, he did. Well, he did for Week 6. 239 total yards, guys. He is, John, this is nuts.
It's special.
What we're seeing. I mean, it's special. And yeah, you can look at it as, okay, he finally got the rock and was able to rock it out for Week 5. And then you can look at Week 6 as, okay, well, it's totally a revenge game. Guys, I think moving forward right now, if you're a Chuba Hubbard owner, I think you need to just be real comfortable being uncomfortable at this point in time, because I think you got to let the hot hand ride with Rico Dowdle until otherwise. I mean, he's just performing at an insanely high level at this point.
All right, so I've got Chuba Hubbard in one league here, Frank.
Okay.
So how much poop should be in my pants? How much should I be shitting
Quite
right
a bit.
now? Quite
a bit. I mean, absolutely, man, quite a bit. And here's the thing, is that we're starting to see the offense as a whole look better because of Rico Dowdle's play. Like, it's not like, you know, Chuba Hubbard really changed the offense when he was in there this year like he did last year. Last year, he was that guy. This year so far, and yeah, now he's battling injury. But, man, if I'm the Panthers, I'm rocking and rolling with Dowdle.
How can you not right now? How can you not? So Chuba's likely to come back this week, and it is going to be a split, guys. I think you'll see Chuba more on the third downs, but first and second down, why would you not give Uncle Rico the ball?
You have to.
You have to. Yeah, you have to. So you're going to have to watch this split, guys. If you've got Rico, I'd still continue to start him. You got Chuba, you probably have to start him, but if you have other options, he'd be the last man out for me if I had other options. Yeah. Giants rookies, man. I mean, every week we just keep talking about these guys. I mean, it's just so fantastic. I love when people can come into a team where you're just not excited about any options, and then you have 2 new guys come in and just instill life, breathe life into this team. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo accounted for 5 touchdowns for this team, man. I mean, absolutely beautiful. You're starting both of these guys. I mean, Cam Scatterbo is a running back 1 moving forward until 100%. Further notice. No question. Yeah. Jackson Dart, how do you feel about him in a 1-quarterback league? Is this a guy you're playing?
Not yet. In a 1-quarterback league, not yet, but he's absolutely somebody who I'm putting on my bench in a 1-quarterback league if you have 6 or more bench spots, guys. So if you have deeper bench spots and you can use that as a backup QB spot, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? They're their schedule kind of moving forward isn't terrible. So I think it opens the opportunity for some really cool shit with Jackson Dart. And he's actually looking at like a true dual threat kind of guy with a lot of the rushing touchdowns that are occurring as well. So yeah, I think I'm not ready to start him full time in a one quarterback league, but he's certainly on my radar as a backup.
What could this team have looked like with Malik Neighbors?
Holy
God.
shit.
Right?
That's what they're missing.
You would have had
that's what they're missing.
a young trio of stars that, oh, God, that would have been so beautiful. And Jackson Dart would potentially be a top 10 quarterback.
I agree.
Had he had Malik Neighbors, yeah, pretty crazy, man. All right, Bijan Robinson, we have to talk about this. I mean, I think we found the new CMC in fantasy football. I know Jonathan Taylor's the number one running back in fantasy, but my God, Bijan Robinson, as far as the eye test goes, this is the best running back in football. He's just absolutely incredible here, man. A couple stats I just want to throw out here because what he's done this year so far, it is remarkable. Bijan came into this game leading the league with 146 yards from scrimmage per game. Comes into this with 146 yards per game. Then he throws up 238 goddamn yards on Monday Night Football. He's like, hold my beer. I can double that. No problem. Second highest total in the league this season is 238. Robinson is the second player to reach 450 rushing yards and 300 receiving yards for the first 5 games in NFL history. I feel like every week we've got records being broken here, Frank. Yeah, the last guy to do that, Thurman Thomas in 1991. And there's a blast from the past for you, man.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, Bijan's just playing out of his goddamn mind. All right, can you start Higgins and Chase now, Frankie? Did the Joe Flacco experiment work? What do you think?
Fire him up. You're firing up Chase and Higgins, guys. I mean, of course you were going to do Chase anyways. It was going to be kind of a miserable slug. You were going to be excited. We talked about it. You were like, oh, it's not a total bust with him having 7.6 points that 1 week, a few weeks back. And now it's like, oh, he's having 25 points again. And oh, T. Higgins is getting involved. Actually, T. Higgins had 8 targets, 5 receptions for 62 yards. And Jamar Chase, 12 targets, 10 receptions, 90 plus yards and a touchdown. Fire him up. Joe Flacco is breathing life back into this offense.
At least for a couple of games.
We
saw this in Cleveland. He lit the fucking place on fire, and then, somebody's out there just kind of pissing on the fire, put it out a little bit. So don't go crazy. But yes, we can actually start Higgins and start Chase now, and that feels real damn good.
Real good.
Who is the lead back for the Chargers now, Frank? I believe we do have someone who has emerged.
Sure do. Kamani Vidal, guys. He is absolutely the back to own at this point in time for the Chargers. He just looks good. And he's getting it done. He's totally getting it done.
He sure is. All right, let's go over to Miami here. Just a fun stat here. There's 2 guys on this team you can start, and that's it. It's Jalen Waddle, and it's running back Devon Achane. The 2 of them accounted for 26 of 42 total touches for the entire Dolphins offense. Okay.
It's crazy.
Hey, it's just good to see that these 2 are at least getting you some fantasy value because it was looking like this whole team was just going to be a punt. But we're good to go there. All right, Justin Fields, Frank, I know this hurts your soul, man. Talk about Justin Fields for a sec. What do we do first of all, what the hell happened this week? And what do we do moving forward?
So got to give credit where credit's due. The Broncos defense is super legit. Like, you gotta be like Patrick Surtain blanketed Garrett Wilson. Like, there was nowhere to throw the ball. And then Nick Bonito just destroyed that offensive line. Like, it truly was a thing of beauty. Now, Justin Fields looked terrible as well. So both things can be true at the same time. I mean, John, looking at Justin Fields, struggled really badly this week. Passed for only 45 yards and took 9 sacks. So what did that equate to in a net perspective? Well, Johnny, you and I had more passing yards technically than that of Justin Fields. He had minus or negative 10 yards passing this week. So it's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah. That's really bad. I mean, they were talking about, I've seen articles, should they bench Justin Fields and all of that. I mean, you got Tyrod Taylor behind him. Why would you bench him at this point?
Yeah.
My question is, can you start him?
Yeah.
Even with the rushing floor? No, you can't start Justin Fields.
I'm saying you cannot start Justin Fields at this point in time. And this is a guy who owns him as a backup to that of Bo Nix. And Yes, he has a very, very solid floor, and maybe it was strictly due to the Broncos defense just getting there. But for me, man, I need to see a bounce back game. And then you layer on the injury to Garrett Wilson, which I know we'll talk about here in a second. So where's his options, right? There's very few and far between. And now, teams are stacking the box, getting ready for him to run. And they're basically saying, or Breece to run. And now they're saying, hey, we'll let Justin beat us through the arm, with his arm through the air. So for me, man, no. I think if you guys have Justin Fields and you're starting him today, please look elsewhere. That's where I would be starting Jackson Dart. So I would be starting Jackson Dart over Justin Fields if you needed that backup, because at least you're going to get a 10, 11, 12, 13 point floor versus that of we're seeing the floor drop out to negative.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bottomless floor right now.
It's a bottomless floor.
45
it could go
yards
negative 10.
I mean, these were Anthony Richardson stats. Let's just be completely honest.
Seriously.
It really was. 9 completed passes for 45 total yards.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Absolute garbage, man. All right, that is the Week 6 recap. Frankie, let's get to the news, baby.
Let's do it.
News and notes.
All right, guys, we got some rough ones here, guys. Nobody's lost for the season. Nothing is fucked here, dude. Everything is fine. We do have some guys that are going to be out for a little bit, though. Puka Nacua being one of them, the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football right now. Ankle injury. Puka Nacua is going to miss a little bit of time here, guys. He came back in, but he was not targeted when he did come back in, meaning he had 0 separation. We all know it takes a few, 24 hours or so for the injury sometimes to really set in and the swelling. It's an ankle injury. They've got a bye in week 8, so I would not expect Puka Nacua back till at least week 9. All right, moving forward here, Marvin Harrison Jr. is in the concussion protocol. A lot of times, guys, you're going to see people miss that first week, so I would expect to be without Marvin Harrison Jr. unless he can get quickly through that protocol. Emeka Igbuka, baby. This one hurt. This one might be the most just damaging of all the injuries this week. Emeka Igbuka, hamstring injury. He's going to miss some time. I have not seen yet, news hasn't come out how severe the hamstring is. Don't know if he's going to go on IR yet, but it's going to be some weeks here, guys. So make plans without Emeka for a little while. Calvin Ridley also pulled up with a hamstring here as well. Could be missing a couple of weeks. Keep an eye on what the severity is there. Amari DiMercato, the guy who dropped the ball right in front of the end zone before he scored on like a 72-yard touchdown. Ankle injuries. And now this backfield, Frank, Michael Carter, Bam Knight. What are we looking at between the two of these guys now? Who would you start?
Guys, I'm actually going to roll out Bam Knight. If I'm looking between the two of them, Bam Knight's going to be the guy that, 12 touches, 12 fantasy points, looked really good. I think they want to see what they actually have out of this kid. And then certainly Michael Carter would be the secondary. Even though Michael Carter had 11 touches, he still had 8 fantasy points. There might be room for both to have some fantasy value, but the reality is, guys, is both are not super great options. So, kind of take it with some risk, but if I had to choose between, I'm going to lean Bam Knight at this point in time.
If you're in a PPR, full PPR, you could look at Michael Carter if you're trying to decide between the two. I think he's going to get a little more play out of the backfield in the passing game. All right, Garrett Wilson, we did talk about it. He's expected to miss a couple of weeks here. Hyperextended knee. Now, the bye week is week 9. So I think best case scenario for Garrett's going to be week 10 for sure. So you're going to have to make some other plans here, guys. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is just crazy, the injuries here. Bucky Irving, Chris Godwin, both already ruled out for week 7. Emeka Igbuka, we know he's going to miss some time here, guys. Mike Evans could practice. It is possible. So you're going to have to keep an eye on Mike Evans. But it's really the Sterling Shepard show, right? At this point, man, it's weird to say, but we'll talk a little bit about this team here a little bit later. All right, some players to watch, guys. I'm going to rapid fire here. These are guys that could play. We're just going to have to get some more information, but these are guys trying to get back on the field here this week. We've got Brock Purdy. We've got J.J. McCarthy with an ankle. Kyler Murray with a foot. Chuba Hubbard with a calf, Deebo Samuel with a heel, Terry McLaurin with a quad, Ricky Pearsall with a knee, Brock Bowers with a knee, DJ Moore with an undisclosed injury. Keep an eye on that one. Dontavian Wicks with an ankle, and David Njoku with a knee. Woo! Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Hit those waiver wires, boys.
Everyone relax.
Spend that money on the waiver wires, guys. You're going to need to. Let's get some good news, though. I don't like being all doom and gloom with the news all
Yeah.
the time, Frank. Some good news here. Rashee Rice is returning this week, back at practice. We got the number one receiver for the Chiefs, who was not injured. Keep in mind, he was
Right.
suspended. He's healthy right now at 100%. Going with the number one quarterback in fantasy football, Frank, with Patrick Mahomes right now. So what are we thinking now with the receivers for this Kansas City Chiefs offense?
It's going to be very interesting. So for me, I think this is going to severely deplete Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, etc. I actually think, though, this could be interesting / beneficial for Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy needs a guy to take away some of the attention from him, and which is going to be Rashee Rice. And now they can actually open up Xavier Worthy even more. And so, man, I'm actually very, very excited. This is the first time in quite a few years that we've seen, Patrick Mahomes really pushing the ball down the field to the level of what he's doing. So for me, man, I am so excited to see Rashee Rice back in this offense.
Yeah, I think he's going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be wide receiver one rest of season. That's very possible. With the way this Chiefs team is set up, they're not the play good defense, run the ball like they used to be. Patrick Mahomes has to throw the ball. And Rashee Rice is healthy. And I think you're right. I think it does help Xavier Worthy. So if you've got Worthy, don't freak out. I
Yeah.
think it's going to leave him to more open options. They can get back to doing some cool things with him and sending him straight down the goddamn field sometimes. So I think that's going to be beneficial. All right, some other good news. George Kittle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done stealing those carburetors right now and copper piping out of your house, but he's returning to practice. He could play. My God, do they need him?
Oh, so bad.
So badly. If George Kittle comes back, guys, it's wheels up. If he's on the field, he is going to be heavily targeted, especially with this team being absolutely decimated with injuries. So that could be great. Another good one coming back here. CeeDee Lamb could return this week. He's getting back into practice. Ooh, we need that one too, man. All right. All right, that is the news, guys. Football season is back in full swing, guys. It is week 7 coming up here. Can you believe that? Almost halfway through the regular fantasy season. Let's go. And Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Guys, playing Underdog, it's super, super easy. Frankie and I do it every single week. All you have to do, pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on all kinds of different stats like rushing, receptions, touchdowns, so much more. Frankie, do we have any good picks for everybody this week?
Guys, this week on Underdog, we're going to stay in the flames with the Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to look at DK Metcalf going higher than 57 yards receiving. And then we're going to move over to the Denver Broncos and Giants, where we're going to look at Evan Ingram higher than 28 yards receiving as well. Pair those two together and enjoy.
I love it. Download the app today and sign up with promo code FRANKLY to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FRANKLY. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Okay, Frankie, let's take a walk down the path here into week 7. Let's look ahead here. Week 7, we've got 2 byes, not too bad here, with Baltimore and Buffalo on a bye. Frankie, I want to get into a couple of guys here that this is that time of year where now all these injuries, if you're not looking at trades, guys, you should be looking at trades. Want to talk about some buy or sell candidates, Frankie, here. How you feel about that, man?
Let's do it.
All right. First one on my board here is Kendrick Bourne. I think now you have to sell Kendrick Bourne. He's had a couple of amazing weeks here with Mac Jones. Now understand, Mac Jones played with Kendrick Bourne in New England, so there's definitely some connection there. But with Brock Purdy and Pearsall trying to come back potentially even this week, I think you've got to try to get something for Kendrick Bourne, guys. Maybe somebody who's not really paying attention to what's actually happening with these receivers.
I agree, John. I think you guys, this is the time to where you can sell a flex piece at its peak value and then be able to get something solid in return. Maybe you're able to get a running back 2 or something along those lines, or a running back that you can plug into your flex. We might have a running back in mind, that we're going to hit on just here in a second, but that might be a great one-for-one opportunity. And the other key call out too is with Kittle coming back, sure with Purdy and sure with Pearsall, and then obviously, we got Demarcus Robinson now coming along. So for me, man, I completely agree. I think that as Brock Purdy starts to take over once more, Kittle gets healthier, Pearsall gets healthier, Demarcus Robinson gets involved a little bit more, it's time to sell Kendrick Bourne.
All right, I want to see how you feel about this one, Frankie.
Okay.
In my mind, I think now is the time to sell George Pickens super high. If you can get a really high offer, I'm talking about getting yourself a running back two that you can just set and forget, man. How do you feel about selling George Pickens right now?
I like it. Guys, I like it. And here's the deal. There's not going to be any higher value of George Pickens the rest of the year than right now. And because the CeeDee Lamb's coming back, right? John, you just mentioned it. He's working his way through, whether it's this week or the next week. CeeDee Lamb is coming back. And once that occurs, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb dominating again the target share, at least for the small and medium routes. And so, sure, George Pickens is going to be their 50-50 guy. No question about it. But why not? Why not get a stellar piece for that, or multiple pieces? If you lost a few guys, like maybe you had Chris Godwin and Emeka Igbuka and you lost both of them, now you can make a move to selling George Pickens and get a couple additional pieces back. So for me, man, I agree. I know it's crazy to even think this because you're sitting on him and you're like, why? Why would I touch a guy who's top 10 right now from a receiver perspective, especially over the last 2 weeks? I think he was actually top 8 in terms of receiver play. So you might be thinking this is crazy, but think long term, right? Be thinking Jake Ferguson is still going to be that guy. He's going to continue to eat as tight end 1. You got CeeDee Lamb coming back, right? Now you're going to be able to get some of these other players involved. I think it's a perfect time to sell George Pickens.
He's coming off of the last 3 weeks. He's had 11 targets in 2 of the last 3 weeks, man. I mean, now is absolutely the time to do it. I mean, but even with CeeDee Lamb, he still was getting 9 targets,
Sure.
So it's a guy you don't have to trade, but I do think it's a piece that it's a guy that could get you something very valuable. You didn't draft George Pickens to be your wide receiver 1. He's currently the wide receiver 3. So I think you can move from him if you've got the roster to be able to do it and get you something you need. All right, here's a controversial one, Frank, and I don't know which way I'm going on it yet. But Breece Hall, I want you to tell me whether or not I should buy or sell Breece Hall. I feel like I can make an argument for either side. So I want to see where you stand on this one.
So guys, I'm going to stand on the side of the fence of you're buying Breece Hall. And actually, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I just bought him this past week, and it actually screwed. But here's what's interesting, is I think that moving forward, this is a guy that's going to be very interesting. And because, guys, Breece Hall could get traded. Everything that's happening within the realm of the Jets is like they're imploding, right? They're 0-6 at this point. It is just a mess. Justin Fields is performing terribly. Garrett Wilson is now banged up, right? We have Braylon Allen on IR, who eventually is probably going to be the guy that takes some of the lion's share in the next coming weeks, next coming years, assuming that Breece Hall doesn't re-sign with the Jets. So for me, guys, you're banking on 2 different things. You're banking on, 1, maybe they end up rolling out Tyrod Taylor, and maybe this opens up a smidge. That's how bad Justin Fields has been playing. From a passing perspective, or you're hoping that he ends up getting traded, which I think is totally viable. Here's the other thing, is when you start looking at who Breece Hall is playing in the next few weeks, guys, it's Carolina, it's Cincinnati, and then it's bye, right? I like all of those, if I'm being honest with you, especially Cincinnati. I mean, you're drooling. John, we even are looking at the top defenses here, and when you start looking at the bottom of the barrel kind of defenses against that of the from a rushing perspective, I mean, Cincinnati's right there in the middle of the pack. I mean, not looking super great. And same thing with the Panthers. Panthers are right there in the about 9th, so they're actually doing pretty well. But for me, man, knowing Breece Hall is the overall offensive line share of the load with Garrett Wilson out, I'm actually going to buy Breece Hall super cheap. That's the other thing. It's the value standpoint. You can get him for nothing or next to nothing, right? If you can do a couple packages. Because I just think, the Jets are just abysmal at this point in time.
Yeah, and his rushing attempts continue to go up week after week.
Yeah.
I mean, he was floating around the 9-10 range for the first 3 weeks. Then it got up to 14, 14, and 22 as far as rushing attempts. The other thing that's interesting about Breece Hall, 74% snap share, up from 60
74%.
and 55. I mean, 3 out of every 4 plays are, Breece Hall's on the field. So right now he is kind of everything on this offense. And he had 0 targets out of the backfield this past week as well. So you give me his typical 5-6 targets that he's used to. Okay, then we're talking something here. So I could see an argument made for both ways, Frank, but I'm kind of with you. I'm on the buy medium right now for Breece Hall because you don't have to give much up. And you're right. If he ends up on another team here in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, that could be very interesting because a team trading for Breece Hall is a team that thinks that they've got a shot.
Totally.
And that could bode very, very well for him. So I like that, man. All right, Tony Pollard, we missed it, man. We missed it. We missed it. You guys cannot trade Tony Pollard now. Talk about it, Frank. I mean, what?
No.
Just destroyed his value with Tajay Spears coming back.
Guys, I think people underestimated how good Tajay Spears was. Like, I think we kind of had in our mind, like, it was 100% Tony Pollard, and it was because Tajay Spears was out. But if you look at when Tajay Spears was playing, I mean, dude, he dominated the passing attack or getting the receptions out of the backfield. And then when you start looking at, okay, well, what did it look like with both of them on the field this week? And Tajay coming back now pretty healthy at this point in time. Tajay had a 53% snap share, and he's continuing to eat into Pollard's workload. And actually, so much so, Tajay Spears was the better back. So, John, I totally think that those that own Tony Pollard right now, they're in a purgatory because you can't sell him. His value's too low. You're not going to get back what you're going to be needing unless you're doing a 2-for-1 or a 2-for-3 type of thing to where you're trying to get the other piece alongside of Tony Pollard, or you're selling off Tony Pollard and you're trying to, package together something along those lines. It's tough, man. It's really, really hard if you're a Tony Pollard owner because I just see Tajay Spears kind of being the guy. The other thing to keep in mind, Brian Callahan's out, right? So head coach is gone. So how does this team look now following that firing? Do they actually go more towards the hot hand? Do we go more towards the very much so poor man's Rico Dowdle with Tajay Spears, knowing that he's performing better than that of Tony Pollard? Very similar to that of Chuba Hubbard, right, and Rico. So it's going to be really weird. I want to see how this pans out as well. Who's going to be the new head coach? What is this offense going to look like? How are they going to use this tandem backfield? But for me, you cannot sell Tony Pollard yet. You got to wait. If he does pop with a touchdown and 30 yards, 40 yards at some point, then like if he's throwing up double digits, that's when I'm going to move on. But right now, I'm kind of getting a little bit warm and cozy with Tajay, so much so I'm actually thinking Tajay is actually a buy 4 at this point.
I do too. Tajay's going to be catching the balls out of the backfield, and this team sucks. They're not good. They're going to be coming from behind in almost every single game. And not only that, look at their schedule moving forward here, man. New England, at tough. Indy, horrible. Chargers, bye. I mean, these are tough defenses against the rush guys. So, Tony Pollard, if you can sell Tony Pollard, maybe it's not a very savvy owner, try to make a move, you guys. Absolutely. But I think Tajay Spears is going to be the guy moving forward. Also, Tony Pollard went from 91% snapped, 86, 73. This past week, 43% snaps.
43.
You're on the field 43% of the time on this bullshit team. You're not going to get anything, guys. Yeah, not going to get anything. All right, let's keep moving on here. Frankie, am I crazy to think I should buy Trevion Henderson right now? Even though you can't put him in your starting lineup, I'm looking at 3, 4, 5 weeks down the road here. This is a pass-first offense. Drake May's playing fantastic fucking football. I think they're going to need Trevion Henderson. Am I crazy for wanting him on my bench?
I don't think you're crazy. And I think he's a very good stash piece. There's a big difference between you're buying a guy and then you're needing to implement him immediately. That's not the case with Henderson. Guys,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like this is what Johnny's talking about, and I agree with you, man. I want to be crystal clear, is that you're buying him extremely low, knowing that towards the back half of the year when it's shit weather and the Patriots and New England and all of these other things start coming up. I mean, I'm not a full believer in Ramondre Stevenson. Like, I want to be crystal clear for the rest of the year. So that means this guy is going to play. Again, remember, Antonio Gibson as well is out for season. So it's Trevion Henderson and it's Ramondre Stevenson. And John, I agree. You can get him super, super cheap. Stash him. Just wait, sit, and be patient and see how it unfolds.
Maybe you're ahead as far as your record goes.
Yep.
Maybe you're 4-1 or, 5-1 or 4-2. You can stash a guy like Trevion Henderson, make him an offer. Make somebody an offer who needs a player to win now. This is how you can set your team up. You're already got a good record. Now you can set yourself up. Get a couple of guys in the bag here that are going to help you towards the stretch, towards playoff time. All right, Frankie, I'm going to buy Isaiah Pacheco right now as well. Is that crazy? Talk to me, man.
It's not crazy. And
Yeah.
here's two different rooms
I've got to
of thought.
smell. I can smell something. I've just got a whiff of something in Kansas City that I'm like, I think it's
barbecue?
Pacheco.
Ooh,
It
you
could be
sure
the
it's not
barbecue. It might be the barbecue.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
or I just flew through Kansas City. It might be the fucking bathrooms in the goddamn
That's
airport.
true.
Holy smokes. But
It's
no,
true.
I'm smelling some Pacheco. What are we looking at?
Man, I mean, 77% snap share. That's huge. That's
nice.
big. Guys,
nice.
we got to remember, we are seeing Pacheco now fully getting healthier. Like, we remember last season, they rushed his ass back just to be able to get him on the field for the Super Bowl and for the playoff. And so when we see, okay, you rush his ass back, you sign Kareem Hunt as the guy that's going to be the tandem to bring along Pacheco. We were really nervous about Pacheco, after week 3 to where it's like, shit, what's going to happen? And now we're starting to see him come back into the fold. 77% snap share, 12 carries. John, I think this is really interesting. The only caveat here is if the Chiefs try to make a trade for somebody like that of Breece Hall. That's the only thing. Again, we can't see that, though. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't tell if that's going to actually be the case or not. The Jets could just be miserable and just say, hey, we're going to stay with Breece, and it is what it is. But, man, I'm with you. I think this is very interesting. Pacheco's best game by far pretty much all year in terms of being on the field from a snap share perspective and also the carries he's getting. So, man, I think you can get him super low, and we're going to watch this unfold.
They used him at the goal line as well this past week.
Yes, which was great to see.
That's very nice to see. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the other thing that we need to call out, again, Rashee Rice is coming back. Guys, Xavier Worthy has been hurt most of the year. So now you're telling me they're going to have both of their weapons. They're both superstar outside guys ready to rock and roll. What do you think that's going to do from the rushing attack now? So for me, man, I think it's going to open up the lanes a bit more for Pacheco. And again, he's running angry again. He's running pissed off at the world. So I'm excited to see Pacheco continue.
I am too, man. Here's one that's real sneaky. I don't think this is on a lot of people's radars, man. This is one of those teams most people just stay away from altogether. We're telling you, you shouldn't be doing that right now, guys. I'm going to buy Chris Olave. Yeah, I know. We don't talk a lot about Olave, and it hasn't been beautiful. I know that. But in fantasy terms, Chris Olave, this is his 5th game with at least 6 catches and 50 yards. I don't care what the guy's name is or what team they're on. If that's what the production is, I want them on my team. He's scored 11 or more fantasy points in 5 of the last 6 games. He's only got 1 touchdown, but that's great, guys. Touchdowns are they're not a sticky stat. Touchdowns will go up and down, but his volume is elite. Seeing 10 or more targets in the past 5 games. And his schedule lightens up a little bit here, guys. So I'm telling you, when you're looking at 10 or more targets in 5 games with 1 touchdown, those touchdowns will continue to come. Trade for Chris Olave, guys. I'm all about it.
Johnny, he's averaging 13 points per game in full PPR, almost 10 points a game in half PPR. Guys, he's number 26th receiver right now on the year. He might be the most undercover, top almost 25 receiver that I've seen in a long time. So I agree. Yeah. Get a piece of this guy.
And he's only, he's 3 points away from being a top 20 receiver as well. So, and that's a touchdown, man. He does get 1 more touchdown and it's going to boost him up here. So yeah, absolutely love it, man. All right, let's talk a little bit about Quinshawn. Okay. Yeah, you're thinking he's a great start this week. Tell me why.
Smash start. I mean, guys, smash start. First off, it's sinful that the Browns let Dylan Gabriel throw for over 50 yards or 50 attempts. That's insane. That should never have happened. Terrible job by the Browns organization on that standpoint. But now we're looking ahead. Browns are playing the Dolphins. Guys, Dolphins rank dead last. Let me repeat. dead last from a rush defensive perspective. So much so, they're actually giving up over 168 points per rushing yards a game. 168 rushing yards a game, and you got Quinshon Judkins, which is truly the only piece that the Browns really have that's worth a damn. So, guys, for me, if you got Quinshon, you're firing him up and you're sitting there smiling. And the other thing is target him in DFS. He's phenomenal play this week, smash start.
Every time I hear Quinshon Judkins, I think about Leroy Jenkins. I don't know why.
Leroy
Jenkins. And he just comes running in. Let's go. And starts fighting. One of the funniest things in the internet's history, for sure, Matt. But every single time the announcer says, Quinshon Judkins, I'm just thinking, Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, you mean like Leroy Bickerstaff? Do we remember that? That was Deshaun Watson on potentially Deshaun Watson. Remember, he was tweeting out a bunch of shit. It went by Leroy Bickerstaff. Okay.
That's not a made-up name at all.
That's not it's totally not a made-up name by any means.
Yeah, Deshaun, real smart, real smooth there, buddy. Nobody knew that one. Okay, good. Another tip here, guys, something I'm going to say is Isaiah Likely. So the Ravens are on a bye this week. I think now is a great time to just sneakily go in there. If you've got the bench space, get Isaiah Likely on your bench, guys. I think Mark Andrews, it's his last year of his contract. He's not been extended. I think there's a good chance he could be traded this year as well. And Isaiah Likely, he's getting back to health. They've got a bye this week. I think you're going to see him a lot more involved. He's already been cutting into Mark Andrews' time, and I think they could move on potentially with Andrews. Makes Isaiah Likely possibly number 2 target for Lamar Jackson moving forward. Frankie, Jaden Daniels. You love him this week, baby.
Love him. DFS guys, if he's, obviously if he's your starting quarterback, you're firing him up. But I'll tell you why he's such a smash play. He is playing against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Fun fact, they're actually last in total defense and last in passing defense. So for me, man, this is a dream start. And here's also what's interesting. Jaden Daniels is doing all of this with a very limited play in Debo and no play from Terry McLaurin due to being out. He's literally doing this with Chris Moore, Luke McCaffrey, etc. Plug him in, Zach Ertz. So when he starts even getting some of his boys back out there, I mean, it's going to be great to see, man. So again, Jaden Daniels, smash start, DFS, fire him up.
I love that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the leading candidate for MVP with Baker Mayfield. Playing the Lions this week, man. Great matchup. Talk about it a little bit. What are we doing with the Tampa Bay side of the ball?
I mean, here's what I'm going to tell you. Go get, and this will be on the waiver wire pickup that I'm going to end up putting out. Sterling Shepard needs to be at the very top of the list for this week. You could probably get him pretty cheap on the waiver this week, and he is going to be the guy. And what I mean by that is he might not be the deep threat that's scoring a touchdown. I want to be crystal clear. We saw that from Tez Johnson, the rookie sensation that came out that they drafted behind that of Emeka Igbuka later in the draft. But what's fascinating, man, is Sterling Shepard is a guy that's going to eat up some of that field. And so knowing that, right, Emeka's out, knowing that Chris Godwin's out, knowing that Bucky Irving's out, knowing that Mike Evans is teetering, Sterling Shepard is a super safe play. And so for me, I really, really like him this week against the Lions defense. The other two to call out as well, as I mentioned, Tez Johnson and then Cameron Johnson, right? Both of them are interesting. I mean, Cameron Johnson looked pretty damn good this past week, and we saw what Tez Johnson could do as well. Again, those are way more flyer picks. I want to be crystal clear. That's when Baker Mayfield's out of the pocket. He's letting it rip, and that's what's going on. But again, they're very interesting. So if you have some injuries at play, if you are affected by the bye week this week, maybe it's worth casting a Hail Mary kind of play and being able to get one of those pieces. But for me, man, it's Sterling Shepard. That's the guy I'm targeting.
And I love Rachaad White this week, guys. He's a smash play. Absolute volume with Bucky out. He does it in all aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Receiving and rushing. So, yeah, you got to fire up Rachaad White. All right, Frank, last thing I want to do here, man. I want to talk about, we've got 6 weeks in the books here, Frank. So we're not guessing any longer on defenses. And I know a lot of people every year, they kind of have something set in their mind like, oh my God, we're playing the Ravens defense. Shit. Truth of the matter is the Ravens defense is not very good. So we want to look at some of these teams, man, and let's give everybody just kind of the teams you want to target right now, where the defenses are for, passing, rushing, and receiving here. So, Frankie, if we're talking about passing defense, you're looking at quarterbacks, maybe you're streaming. You've got a couple of guys you're trying to decide against here. What are some of the defenses you want to attack with your quarterback?
So this is crazy to say this, but I'm going to list off like a top 6, right? That just to be thinking of. The number 1, or should I say 6, we'll start 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been getting eaten up from the passing attack so far, which is something that's a little interesting. But again, TJ Watt's been a little bit off, so take that with a grain of salt. But the Pittsburgh Steelers is interesting. Don't be afraid to play the receivers and or the quarterbacks when they're going against the Steelers. They're not the Steelers of old. And then it would be, I'm going to lump in the Cardinals and the Ravens here. Cardinals and Ravens, they are being thrown on constantly. I mean, guys, we're talking it's an average of 246 plus points or passing yards, a game. 246 passing yards a game on average is what's being against them. So really good. And then when we start looking at the worst of the worst from a passing attack, and this one's interesting. Jacksonville Jaguars, number 3 from a passing attack. But what's also fascinating is they're actually top 10. They're number 8 best against the rush. So if you're looking at your quarterback or receiver, fire him up against Jacksonville. Don't be afraid. If you're looking at a running back and who to start between a few and they're playing against Jacksonville, maybe go with the other that's not playing Jacksonville from a running back perspective. Guys, the next 2, we mentioned one, or the best to play against is going to be the Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys. They're letting everybody eat. So enjoy.
I love that. And that was a good point, just because you can't go by total defense here, guys. You can't look at a team and say, oh man, the Jaguars D's been really good. They're 5-1, all this stuff, 4-2, all this. No, they're going to be good in some aspects, but they're going to be vulnerable in others. You can pass against them. You cannot run against them. So this is good information, which is why we wanted to tell you this stuff here, guys. All right, Frankie, let's look at some rushing defenses here. So you've got your running backs. You're trying to decide your RB2. You got a few matchups, though, here. What defenses are we targeting for running backs?
Guys, I'll go in reverse order here. So the number 1, we mentioned it, is the Dolphins. When you are playing the Dolphins, fire up your running back. They are giving up over 168 rushing yards per game. That's crazy sauce. That's insane amount. Okay? And then from there, you got the Bears. We talked about the Bears before, right? The Bears are the second best option if you're playing a running back against the defense. You're really hoping it's the Bears there. But this one is really interesting. The third best for me, or not even for me, just statistically, is the Bills. The Bills are getting ran all over. Now, they've had injuries, Matt Milano and others from the linebacker position, so that makes a huge difference. But as it stands right now, right, you're firing up a running back against the Bills. This is not that same team. And then the last 2, might as well, enjoy it while it's hot. You got the Cowboys and the Bengals. So what this means,
I'm seeing some trends here. I'm not that smart of a guy, but right? I'm starting to pick up on what you're throwing down, man.
Cowboys in Cincinnati, you're just enjoying. Just enjoy. So that's what I'm saying.
Hey, fun fact, the Bills have given up 9 rushing touchdowns this season.
How
about that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, that's second most in the NFL. Tied for second most.
It is. Tied with the Ravens, by the way. The first most, the Titans, giving up 11 rushing touchdowns. Nice. I'm going to start my running backs against them as well, man.
Yes.
All right, what about receivers? We're looking at trying to decide in your flex role with one receiver or another. What are some of the defenses we want to target and go after here with your receivers, Frank?
So, guys, for me, I'm going to look out the third down defenses, right? Thinking of that's a huge passing down typically. If you're 4 yards and behind, you're more than likely going to be looking from a passing attack. So for me, man, it's really coming down to very similar teams. I mean, it's crazy. When you think about the Cowboys, they're very bad third down efficiency. I mean, to the point to where they're getting converted on over 52% of the time. So you're loving that. The other few, Dolphins are up there. So yeah, you're firing up the Dolphins from a receiver standpoint as well. But this also was interesting. The Colts. And the Colts are one of the ones that you can look statistically around and find stats for and stats against when playing against the Colts. And so for me, that's what was interesting. So the Colts are giving up some play to the receivers, especially on third down efficiency, right? They're third worst in the NFL, 47.9%. So that's really interesting. But then you also have the Bengals and the Ravens. So you're firing up those receivers against those guys as well.
Interesting stats here, too. If you're looking at points allowed and you want to look at which teams are the stingiest against scoring against them right now, surprisingly, the Texans are number one, Frank. Points allowed average is only 12 points allowed. So the Texans defense is really, really sneaky. Number two, you've got the Broncos only allowing 15 points. That makes total sense. Rams coming in at number three. Excellent defensive front there. Colts at number four. And then you got Vikings, Seahawks, Falcons. So interesting teams. These are not typical teams that you would say, whoa, stay against the Falcons. I don't want to start my guys against the Falcons. I haven't said that in probably 25 years.
Yeah.
Falcons D is playing legit, so you got to watch that, guys. All right, that is the episode for the day. Hopefully, we gave you guys some good tips and tricks and things to think about for the week. That's what we're trying to do. We just want to supplement. We know you listen to podcasts. We know you're watching Good Morning Football and the Fantasy Guys, all that stuff. We want to be a part of it and just bring some particular value. Guys, comment below. Let us know if we're bringing you some value. Let us know what you would like to hear from us if we're not bringing you what you want to hear. Frankie, what do we have coming up, baby?
Guys, we're dropping the top waiver wire picks for Tuesday pickups and Wednesday pickups, so get tuned in. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of a mix of that 10, 12-team league, and then some for the 14, 16-team leagues. And then, of course, Fridays with Frankie. Johnny mentioned it in the early goings of the episode. Guys, check it out. I promise you are going to get value from these. They are 5 things you need to know before heading into the weekend. And it's going to be players that are in, players that are out, and it is critical to be able to get that. I'm sure you're getting notifications. I'm sure you're keeping up to date, but just check it out while you're scrolling because there will be a few tidbits of information, or should I say snidbits, that are going to be standing out that will help you for your weeks.
I thought we were going to get through an entire 50-minute episode without you making up a word, but you did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Snidbits. Hey, Frankie, snidbits. Could you give me the country of origin, please?
Yes, Lithuania.
I was just going to say that. That sounds totally Lithuanian. Can you please use snidbits in a sentence?
Of course. I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up a snidbit of oranges. Next question.
Okay.
But
guys,
I will tell you what.
I'm so glad that you're not homeschooling your kids. That's all I can say.
It's that would be a superpower of mine that I'm choosing to actually set to the side for the benefit of my children, of course. But let me tell you, I will give you a snidbit of information. It's good to see the viewers and the listeners back. Thank you guys for checking it out. I know Johnny and I got put on a little bit of a hand slap. You might see some of the videos.
Little pee-pee smack.
Little pee-pee smack. 55 views to this past episode, 13,000. Guys, keep it coming. We love you guys. We promise we will make sure not to say things that get us doxxed. So we'll keep that train moving forward.
Sounds good. And don't forget to follow us everywhere, guys. It's Frankly Fantasy Football. Join the fun. We're going to be right here with you all week, every week. Let's go. May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.